let's head back right now to New York City, where Donald Trump has once again made history for all the wrong reasons. He is now the first former president to stand trial for criminal charges here. Trump is accused of falsifying business records to hide a hush money payment that he made to a porn star who allegedly he had an affair with. Because he allegedly hid it in service of his presidential campaign, he opened himself up to some charges here related to election interference and also campaign finance. NBC 10 political commentator Sue O'Connell joining us right now. Sue, the president, he posted a lot, former president, posted a lot on Truth Social saying that he was being muzzled and that he's not allowed to talk publicly about the case. So I guess my question here is, why would a judge issue that order during an election year, right? He's the face of the Republican Party. He's going to be the Republican nominee here. Trump has to be able to speak out to his voters about concerns that they might have, concerns like being on trial for criminal charges.
Sure, but he's able to do that because there are lots of restrictions on our free speech, on our First Amendment, right? And during a trial, the court and judges have enormous power over the participants and what they can and cannot say, what they can and cannot do. And look, the justice system should not care if you're running for president or you work at a McDonald's. All defendants are supposed to be treated the same. And most importantly, Trump is choosing to run for president. It's not a right. It's not a situation he's being forced into. He chose to run for president while facing a number of very serious charges in multiple trials. The gag order does not apply to every single part of Donald Trump's life. He can still run for president and make statements. It's intended to be a safeguard to protect witnesses, investigators, prosecutors, the jurors, judges, all of them from threats, and minimize the chance of a mistrial.
All right, so I want to dive in on the playbook here, right? Because it appears that Trump will take the stand in his own defense. What does his lawyer have to gain by doing that? And what does Trump actually have to lose as well?
You know, Colton, I can't imagine what it must be like to be a lawyer for Donald Trump, right? Most criminal defendants don't testify because it is generally very risky. It's even a bigger risk, I think, for Trump. He has, by any objective measure, been more and more incoherent on the campaign trail. And Trump, on a good day, has a habit of misstating at best and lying at worst. So in his last trial, the civil fraud penalty case, he did himself zero favors every time he opened his mouth in court. So what's the upside? Well, the upside is purely political. Trump could speak directly to his MAGA base and continue to fundraise so he can pay for all of this legal representation.
Well, and let's talk about the flip side, too. We're talking about how this is going to play out to his base, but what about the critics, right? What kind of punishment could Trump be looking at if the worst happens and he's found guilty here?
Yeah, if he's found guilty of all 34 counts, he could be facing more than a decade in prison. However, this would be Trump's first criminal conviction, and it's for a nonviolent offense. So the judge could sentence him to a fraction of the maximum penalty. He could also be sentenced to no jail time, be placed on probation, or maybe home confinement. And regardless of whether he's found guilty of all or one or a few of the charges, those things could happen. Look, his right to vote, though, could be revoked. He would be prohibited from running for state office in 48 states, and his passport could be revoked, meaning that theoretically he would be prohibited from leaving the country.
All right, our Sue O'Connell there. Sue, we appreciate you. Got a hectic few weeks ahead here following you. Not as hectic as the former president there. We appreciate you.
That's true.
For your context, as always. And a reminder, we dive into all of the latest political headlines every Sunday morning right here on NBC 10 Boston. First catch at Meet the Press, moderated by Kristen Welker. That's at 10:30. And then immediately after that, at 11:30, you can join Sue and Matt Pritchard for the very latest episode of At Issue.